This is a community of just 60 people, living in Nine-Chung. When the snow falls and the grass dies, there's nothing left to feed the animals. This is the Arctic, a land of extremes, where deadly cold, endless darkness, and brutal isolation dominate. And yet, for centuries, the indigenous peoples of this unforgiving region have not only survived but thrived. Scattered across Alaska, Canada, Greenland, Scandinavia, and Russia, these circumpolar tribes have developed astonishing traditions, adapting to conditions most would consider unlivable. From building homes out of ice to hunting in total darkness, their way of life is both a testament to human resilience and a deep connection with the natural world. Among these communities, the Yupik people stand out. For them, the world isn't just made of land and sea, it's also made of spirits. This belief isn't fantasy, it's the foundation of their reality. In Yupik tradition, every element of nature, from towering mountains to the smallest fish, possesses a soul. Their shamans, respected spiritual guides, are believed to heal the sick, communicate with unseen forces, and even bring misfortune upon those who disturb the natural balance. At the heart of their belief system lies Elamua, the spirit of the universe, the unseen force that created and sustains all life. This profound respect for nature shapes every aspect of the Yupik's existence, from survival strategies to artistic expression. Their culture is not only spoken but also carved, danced, and passed from one generation to the next. Wood and ivory are transformed into intricate masks and sculptures, each telling a story. Their dances, often performed during potlatch ceremonies, serve not just as entertainment but as a sacred way to honor ancestors and commune with the spirits. Surviving in the Arctic requires more than just luck, it demands skill, wisdom, and relentless resilience. The Yupik have mastered both land and sea, hunting seals, walrus, and caribou with harpoons, spears, and kayaks. To endure the brutal winters, they constructed kashim, underground communal dwellings, and aina, warm family shelters lined with animal skins. While the Yupik draw strength and wisdom from the spirits of the land and sea, another remarkable Arctic people, the Nenets, read their environment through the language of ice and snow. The Nenets have lived for centuries in the Siberian tundra, one of the harshest environments on Earth. Their lives are intimately tied to their reindeer herds, and their survival depends on an encyclopedic knowledge of snow and permafrost. They possess a rich vocabulary describing the many forms of snow, which allows them to predict weather changes, find the best grazing spots, and determine when travel is safe. In today's rapidly warming climate, this ancestral knowledge has become more critical than ever. Climate change is disrupting their migration routes and threatening the delicate balance of their ecosystem. Melting ice and shifting weather patterns are placing immense pressure on their way of life. The Nenets live in chums, cone-shaped tents made from reindeer hides. These traditional shelters are ingeniously designed to endure temperatures plunging to -50 degrees Celsius. The hides provide excellent insulation, trapping heat inside while blocking out the cold. These portable homes are essential, as the Nenets migrate seasonally with their herds. Family lies at the core of Nenet society. Organized into clans with paternal lineage, each clan maintains its own territory and customs. Elders hold a revered position, guiding important decisions, while Tardibia, the shamans, serve as spiritual leaders, preserving harmony between the human world and nature. However, the Nenets' traditional way of life now faces a growing threat. Industrial projects such as the Yamal megaproject have invaded their ancestral lands, disrupting migratory paths and polluting their environment. The freedom to move across their territory is no longer guaranteed, and the very landscape they've relied upon for generations is changing in ways they cannot control. While the Nenets continue to battle the relentless cold and the forces of industrialization, another Arctic people, the Aleuts, have endured a very different kind of devastation: colonization. The term Aleut first appeared in the 18th century, coined by Russian fur traders to describe two distinct groups, the Unangaks of the Aleutian Islands and the Sugpiaq of Kodiak Island. Although they shared similar environments, their cultures and languages were unique. Everything changed in 1741 when Russian colonizers arrived. What began as trade quickly devolved into exploitation. Fur traders, driven by profit, overhunted sea otters and seals, devastating the ecosystems the Aleuts depended on. diseases swept through their communities, and violent conflict followed. The consequences were catastrophic. From a once thriving population of 25,000, the Aleuts were reduced to just 2,000 by the late 19th century. This cultural erasure left deep scars. The Aleut language, Unangam Tunu, once spoken widely, is now near extinction, with only 109 fluent speakers remaining. The loss of language is more than symbolic, it's a severing of identity and heritage. But in the face of overwhelming adversity, the Aleut people have not given up. Revival efforts are underway to preserve their language and traditions for future generations. Historically, the Aleuts held a profound connection to the natural world, guided by animistic and shamanistic beliefs. They saw spirits in the sea, the wind, and the land itself. The arrival of Russian Orthodox missionaries introduced Christianity, and although many Aleuts converted, their ancient spiritual practices were never fully abandoned. Instead, they blended the old with the new. Aleut men were renowned hunters, braving the open seas in baidakas, skin-covered kayaks, to track marine mammals. Their survival, like that of the Yupik and Nenets, was rooted in both practical skill and spiritual connection. These cultures, each shaped by unique histories and landscapes, represent astonishing human adaptations, and now stand at a crossroads, struggling to protect their identities from the forces that threaten to erase them. Like the men who hunted seals, sea otters, whales, and walruses, Aleut women played a vital role in sustaining their communities. They gathered fish, birds, shellfish, and wild plants like berries to feed their people. This wasn't just about survival, it was the heartbeat of Aleut life. Their communal efforts bound them together, strengthening social ties through a shared reliance on the land and sea. Then came a turning point no one could have foreseen: World War II. In a tragic twist, the US government forcibly relocated the Aleut people to internment camps under appalling conditions. Families were torn apart, traditions were disrupted, and their way of life was shattered. The trauma of this forced relocation was not officially acknowledged until decades later. It wasn't until 1988 that the Aleut Restitution Act was passed, offering compensation to survivors. But how can a Czech undo the cultural and emotional scars etched into their history? While the Aleut endured the violent upheavals of colonization and war, the Koryak, also known as the Kaks, faced a more gradual, quieter erosion of culture. For generations, the Koryak lived in close harmony with nature. Their society was built on collective leadership, decisions were made together, with families functioning as unified, self-reliant groups. At the center of their spiritual life stood the shaman, a figure who used rituals and drumming to connect with the spirit world and pass down ancestral wisdom. To the Koryak, nature wasn't just a resource, it was sacred. And no animal symbolizes this reverence more than the reindeer. For centuries, reindeer have provided the Koryak with food, clothing, tools, and transportation. Every part of the animal is used with care and gratitude. They've adapted their homes to the Arctic's extremes, building semi-underground shelters for winter and sturdy tents for the summer. Along the coast, they crafted boats from wood and animal skins to fish and hunt sea mammals. During the brief Arctic summers, Koryak women gather berries and roots, ensuring their people are fed throughout the year. But over time, Soviet policies began to dismantle their traditional way of life. Cultural suppression and forced assimilation caused the Koryak language and customs to fade. The decline accelerated in 2007 when the Koryak Autonomous Okrug was merged with Kamchatka Krai, stripping the Koryak people of political autonomy and further pushing them to the margins. Without representation, the survival of their culture now hangs in the balance. Like the Koryak and their sacred reindeer, the Gwich'in people of Alaska and Canada share an extraordinary bond with another Arctic animal, the caribou. For the Gwich'in, caribou, called vudzai, are not merely game animals, they are the lifeblood of their culture. As Gwich'in leader Sarah James once said, caribou are not just what we eat. They are who we are. This deep spiritual connection is woven through every story, every hunt, and every ceremony. The relationship between the Gwich'in and the caribou dates back generations. Caribou provided food, clothing, shelter, and tools. Their hides became tents, bedding, and garments, their bones were shaped into vital implements. But the bond goes deeper than utility. The Gwich'in have creation myths that speak of a time when their people and the caribou were one. Though separated, they vow to always honor each other. Every hunt is a sacred act of respect and remembrance. Today, the Gwich'in still live in rhythm with the migration of the porcupine caribou herd. They are expert trackers, passing down detailed knowledge of caribou movements, behaviors, and habitats. But theirs is not just a culture of hunting, it is a culture of sustainability. They believe in taking only what is needed, ensuring the herds remain healthy for generations to come. As oil companies threaten the calving grounds of the porcupine herd in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, the Gwich'in have become fierce protectors of the land. They are not merely resisting development, they are defending their very identity. Through activism and the work of the Gwich'in Social and Cultural Institute, they fight to safeguard the caribou and preserve the balance between nature and culture that has sustained them for centuries. While the Gwich'in fight for their caribou, another indigenous group, the Evens and Evenks, draw strength from a similarly deep-rooted relationship with their homeland. Descended from the ancient Tungusic-speaking tribes of Siberia, the Evens and Evenks settled over 3,000 years ago between Lake Baikal and the Amur River. For centuries, they shared stories, trade, and traditions with neighboring peoples like the Yukagi. But their world began to change drastically in the 17th century with the arrival of Russian explorers and Cossacks. These outsiders imposed a fur tax known as yasak, demanding tribute and pushing the Evens to expand into new territories, often at great cost to their traditional lands and resources. This marked the beginning of a complex, often exploitative relationship between indigenous Siberians and the expanding Russian Empire. Today, the Evens still draw upon the wisdom of their ancestors to survive in Siberia's vast wilderness. But like so many Arctic peoples, they now face the twin pressures of environmental change and cultural erasure. And yet, even as the modern world encroaches on their lands, the Evens, the Gwich'in, the Koryak, and the Aleuts remain steadfast in their efforts to preserve their traditions, languages, and sacred ties to the land and animals that have sustained them for millennia. Settled around the Sea of Okhotsk in northeastern Siberia, the Evens and Evenks were not passive in the face of Russian colonization. They resisted fiercely. However, by the early 1700s, their resistance was subdued, and they, too, were drawn into the orbit of the Russian Empire. Despite this, both groups, with their shared roots and deep ancestral knowledge, have spent centuries fighting to preserve their traditional way of life. The Evens have always been nomadic, depending on reindeer for both transport and sustenance. Their portable conical tents, made from birch bark or reindeer hides, were ideal for a constantly moving lifestyle. A diet rich in reindeer meat, fish, and wild game like elk and red deer kept them strong in the unforgiving Siberian landscape. The Evenks followed similar practices, though often on a smaller scale, herding reindeer, fishing, and using fish skins for clothing and shelter. At the core of both societies was a culture of communal sharing. Hunts were collective efforts, everyone contributed, and no one was left behind. Leadership came not from dominance but from wisdom, especially the wisdom of elders and shamans. These spiritual figures served as healers and guides, maintaining the balance between the physical and spiritual realms. Interestingly, the word shaman itself originates from the Evenki, formerly Tungusic, language, a reminder of how central these cultures have been to the broader spiritual history of Siberia. Linguistically, the Evens and Evenks share roots in the Manchu-Tungusic language family, linking them to many other indigenous Siberian groups. However, their dialects have evolved differently over time, shaped by interactions with neighboring cultures. Tragically, these languages are disappearing rapidly as younger generations shift to Russian, threatening the cultural fabric that has held these communities together for centuries. If the Evens and Evenks possess a deep connection to the land, the Yukagi people elevate that bond to a spiritual plane. For the Yukagi, nature isn't just a setting, it's a living, breathing presence that surrounds them. Their spiritual beliefs are a unique blend of shamanism and animism, creating a worldview in which spirits inhabit every aspect of life, from the crackling hearthfire to the arc of the sun above. At the center of their cosmology is a powerful sun deity named Pugu. But Pugu is more than just a god, he is a moral judge, overseeing human behavior and ensuring the balance between people and nature is maintained. Yet, Pugu is only one of many spiritual forces the Yukagi recognize. Every clan has an Alma, a shaman who acts as a bridge between the physical world and the spiritual realm. These shamans heal the sick, offer guidance, and protect the community. After death, they are honored as sacred figures, their remains preserved as relics, symbols of their ongoing spiritual presence. Animals, too, hold a special place in Yukagi belief. Each species is seen as kin, possessing its own spirit. Hunters follow strict unwritten codes to honor these spirits, believing that respect ensures success and sustains balance. Rituals around hunting are vital, taboos and customs dictate how and when animals should be taken. These rules are passed down through generations, maintaining a sacred rhythm between humans and the natural world. Trees, in this belief system, are more than just plants, they're tree brothers, spiritual protectors honored through ceremonies. The Yukagi's worldview is one where everything has a soul, and nothing is taken for granted. Even dreams are treated with reverence. They are seen not as fleeting thoughts but as visions of the future. In Siberia's harsh wilderness, where survival depends on anticipation and awareness, the ability to interpret dreams can mean the difference between life and death. Shamans, once again, serve as guides, reading these visions to help their people navigate personal challenges and environmental shifts. Though Russian Orthodox Christianity made inroads into Yukagi culture, many still blend the old with the new. Their spiritual identity has become a woven tapestry, Christian teachings interlaced with ancient shamanic beliefs, allowing them to preserve their heritage while adapting to modern changes. This heritage includes a range of traditional practices. Tundra-dwelling Yukagi became skilled reindeer herders, while forest clans focused on expert hunting and fishing. Their economy mirrored the seasons, tracking reindeer and elk, fishing from dugout canoes, and foraging edible plants during short summers. What truly sets the Yukagi apart, though, is their adaptability. Before the 1920s, they used no metal tools, relying entirely on materials like wood, bone, and stone to craft hunting gear, fishing equipment, and weapons. Their homes reflected the same ingenuity. In winter, they built insulated dwellings from bark and timber, while in summer, they used lightweight shelters made from skins or leaves. This deep-rooted ability to survive and adapt in one of the planet's harshest climates was more than a necessity, it was a way of life passed down with pride. The Yukagi's spiritual, cultural, and ecological wisdom paints a portrait of life intimately woven into nature's rhythms. Further north, the Inuit have forged a different but equally inspiring path through the Arctic. For the Inuit, the frozen expanse of the north isn't a place to merely endure, it is home. Hunting lies at the center of their lifestyle, and generations of experience have transformed it into an art. They use harpoons to hunt sea mammals and bows and arrows for land animals. Their skill is not only in the hunt but in knowing the land, the ice, and the sea with a precision born of necessity. Inuit ingenuity is evident everywhere. They crafted kayaks and larger boats called umiak to navigate icy waters, using these vessels to hunt seals, whales, and walruses. But survival isn't just about catching animals, it's about using every part. Take the caribou, its meat becomes food, the hide is used for clothing, the fat fuels lamps, and bones are carved into tools. Nothing is wasted. Their clothing is a marvel of practical design. Parkas made from caribou or seal skin and karmics, special boots, provide warmth even in sub-zero temperatures. Every stitch is a reflection of generations of trial, error, and adaptation. To the Inuit, survival is not just physical but cultural, a demonstration of respect for the environment and for the legacy of their ancestors who taught them how to thrive in a land of ice. Inuit garments are not just functional, they are works of art. Many are adorned with beautiful patterns and intricate designs that speak volumes about the wearer's identity and cultural roots. Language plays an equally important role in preserving Inuit culture. Inuktitut, the language of the Inuit in Canada, carries more than just words, it holds ancestral wisdom, values, and centuries of stories. It is the thread that binds generations together. Inuit art also holds a central place in their cultural expression. Often carved from soapstone, walrus tusks, or bone, these works of art depict animals and scenes from daily life, many with deep spiritual significance. As for day-to-day living, the Inuit have developed ingenious customs to survive the Arctic's unforgiving climate. In winter, they build igloos, insulated shelters crafted from packed snow that trap body heat and keep the cold at bay. During the summer months, they live in tents or turf huts constructed from stones, driftwood, and animal skins, typically situated near hunting grounds or water sources. At the heart of Inuit life is the spirit of community. Cooperation is essential. Families work together during hunts, sharing food to ensure no one goes without. Parenting is rooted in patience, kindness, and learning through observation rather than punishment. This way of life is guided by mutual respect for one another and the natural world that sustains them. However, like many indigenous cultures, the Inuit now face modern challenges. The shift from a nomadic lifestyle to permanent settlements has impacted food security. With fewer opportunities to hunt, many Inuit have turned to store-bought food, which is often expensive and lacks the nutritional value of traditional meals. Alongside this, social issues such as alcoholism, high youth suicide rates, and mental health struggles have surfaced. Though they have mastered survival in one of the world's harshest environments, adapting to modern pressures has tested the resilience of Inuit communities. Meanwhile, deep in the forests of Siberia, the Khanty and Munsee tribes have their own profound spiritual bond with nature, especially with one powerful animal, the bear. For these tribes, the bear is no ordinary creature. It is revered as a powerful ancestor, protector, and even the divine son of their supreme god, Numtorum. The bear symbolizes justice, strength, and spiritual connection, occupying a sacred place in their culture and daily life. Hunting a bear is not simply a practical act, it is a sacred ritual. After a successful hunt, the bear is honored in an elaborate ceremonial festival filled with singing, dancing, and storytelling. The animal's body is treated with the utmost respect, its hide is adorned with ribbons and reverently displayed inside the home. To outsiders, this may appear to be just another cultural tradition. But for the Khanty and Munsee, it is a spiritual rite, a way to process the emotional weight of the hunt and reaffirm their relationship with the natural world. Family life among these tribes follows a patriarchal lineage. Traditions, names, and territories are passed through the male line, shaping both social hierarchy and ceremonial practices. While small rituals may take place at home, major ceremonies are communal events, often held in specially constructed ceremonial houses that serve as cultural centers and gathering spaces. Spiritual rituals are central to Khanty and Munsee identity. Every mask, costume, and dance tells a story rooted in nature and ancient lore. Participants in these ceremonies transform into characters representing animals, spirits, and ancestors, bringing their oral traditions to life in a vibrant and meaningful way. At the core of this spiritual practice stands the shaman, a revered figure who connects the human and spirit worlds. The shaman's role highlights how deeply spirituality is woven into every facet of daily life. The Khanty and Munsee people also rely heavily on their natural surroundings. Forests, rivers, and even the elusive Siberian tiger provide essential resources for their survival. The Khanty are believed to have originated from the Arctic, while the Munsee trace their roots to Finno-Ugric migrations, giving them distinct yet intertwined histories. Both tribes are divided into clans, each with unique customs and territories that shift with the seasons, reflecting a deep respect for nature's constant change. Today, efforts to preserve their culture are growing stronger. The Khanty-Munsee Autonomous Okrug in Russia plays a key role in these efforts, supporting exhibitions that showcase tribal artifacts and history. Increasing federal recognition has also helped empower these indigenous groups, giving them a stronger voice in preserving their heritage and asserting their rights. Across the frozen expanse of Sapmi, a region stretching through northern Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Russia's Kola Peninsula, the Sami people have carved out their own remarkable legacy. With roots going back nearly 10,000 years to the end of the last ice age, the Sami have developed a unique culture shaped by deep resilience and a profound understanding of their environment. For much of their early history, the Sami were nomadic hunter-gatherers who lived in harmony with nature. They hunted, fished, and foraged, moving with the seasons and respecting the rhythms of the land. Around the 1500s, a pivotal shift occurred. They began domesticating reindeer. This marked a transformation in Sami life. Reindeer became central to their culture, influencing everything from diet and clothing to spiritual beliefs and identity. Today, reindeer herding remains a vital part of Sami life. Around 10,000 Sami people across Norway and Sweden still practice it, continuing traditions that have been passed down through generations. Every part of the animal is used. The meat provides sustenance, the hides are turned into clothing, and traditional dishes like bidos, a hearty stew made from reindeer meat, potatoes, and carrots illustrate just how deeply reindeer are woven into Sami daily life. But Sami culture extends beyond herding. The Sami have always followed their reindeer along established migration routes, ensuring the animals have access to fresh grazing lands. This nomadic movement helped shape a society that values mobility, adaptation, and harmony with the environment. Let me know if you'd like to continue this narrative with the rest of the Sami story, or if you'd like the entire section formatted for a video script, educational content, or long-form article. Certainly. Here's your text rephrased into well-structured, polished paragraphs. This ancient tradition of reindeer herding is more than a livelihood for the Sami, it's a cultural cornerstone. In both Norway and Sweden, it is protected by law, ensuring that reindeer herding remains an exclusive right of the Sami people. However, their journey has been far from easy. Over the centuries, the Sami have fought hard to defend their land and way of life. Their struggles began in the 16th century when the expansion of Scandinavian states brought heavy taxation and led to the loss of Sami lands. Later, missionaries attempted to convert the Sami to Christianity, challenging and often eroding their traditional spiritual beliefs. Despite these hardships, the Sami have remained resilient, preserving many of their ancient customs and practices. One of the most captivating aspects of Sami culture is their vibrant music and art. Gwich'in, their traditional form of singing, is one of the oldest musical traditions in Europe. Soulful and powerful, it's used to honor people, animals, and places, each Gwich'in a personal tribute woven in melody. This music isn't just for entertainment, it's a living expression of Sami identity and spirituality. Sami craftsmanship also reflects this deep cultural connection. Their art, known as duoji, includes intricately woven textiles, carved wooden tools, and stunning silver jewelry. These handmade items are not only practical but also beautifully reflect their bond with nature and ancestral heritage. Traditional Sami clothing, known as the gakti, is equally expressive. Often adorned with colorful patterns and detailed silver accessories, each garment tells a story, revealing information about the wearer's family, region, and social status. Living in the harsh Arctic regions of Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Russia, the Sami have developed a way of life closely tied to nature and spirituality. Historically, they practiced animism, the belief that the natural world is alive with spirits. Sacred sites, such as Siedi, sacred stones, and ancient trees, played a vital role in their spiritual rituals and were believed to house powerful forces that watched over their communities. Today, the Sami continue to honor these traditions, even as they navigate the challenges of modern life. Their culture stands as a testament to endurance, creativity, and a profound respect for the land that has shaped them for millennia.